Hi, Lionel.
So, howdy, Rufus. No doubt you've been keeping abreast and watching previous episodes of Who is Lionel Best between me and Aaron. And we filmed the last episode not too long ago that was actually talking about the introduction to BiG and when BiG was set up and why it was set up. And it's a great opportunity now to just start bringing some of our users on to talk about BiG and to talk about their experiences, and as well as our users, our resources as well. And of course, you're both. You initially started off as a user doing work experience with us. Just wanting to hear from you, really. I mean, what do you remember about that opportunity and how you felt about it? I mean, and please elaborate on, not only how you felt about it, what made you want to take advantage of that work experience opportunity.
Yeah, so it was about 2 years ago now. So it's testing my memory a little bit. But I remember it was around the Christmas period. I had turned 16 a few months prior, and was speaking to Charmaine, my cousin, who obviously was in contact with the business, and she let me know of an opportunity. I had just left school, so I was looking for work, and obviously football's been a massive part of my life ever since I was little. So it almost came at a perfect time for me. I remember speaking to you around maybe New Year's, and it all came around really quickly. Started off with the winter camp, obviously on work experience. And yeah, that was my first proper introduction to the business, into BiG, doing the winter camp.
Excellent. So why did you want to do work experience? At that point, obviously, we try and encourage not just us in BiG, parents. I'm a parent of two boys. I think work experience is very good for youngsters. But what sort of like drew you into taking advantage of doing a bit of work experience? What was your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, football's always been a massive part of my life, So if I could have an opportunity to work in football, it would almost be sort of two birds with one stone. It's something that I'm very passionate about as well. So yeah, that was why I was initially really intrigued with starting off work experience. And yeah, it was interesting because once I had finished the first week, I was surprised in a good way, because the things that I got out of it were different to what I had expected initially coming into it. So being a football player, being someone that was really interested in maybe more the tactical side of the game, I was more interested in, the coaching aspect of it and developing football players. But doing a week on the camp, getting to know the boys, getting to know yourself more as well, the boys and girls, and getting to know yourself, it was a rewarding feeling. It was a refreshing feeling knowing that, we can help these young people not just improve as footballers, but also improve as people. And that was one of the key aspects that after I had done the week at the winter camp that I really enjoyed, and, gave me a desire and a passion to do more.
Excellent. I mean, it is refreshing hearing you say that, because we've been doing work experience with our holiday program since 2012. I mean, I started BiG in 2011, which I'm hoping many will remember from the last but one episode of Who is Lionel Best. And it was never just for people who liked football. It was, if you liked football and you had aspirations to be a coach, that was always going to be a very big bonus. But our work experience on our holiday football camps was always about providing a platform for youngsters to develop all key transferable skills, personal social skills. So it's really refreshing to hear you say it wasn't what you expected in that way, because you got, if I heard you correctly, you got more out of it than you expected to get out of it.
Yeah.
Learning about the holistic, or providing you tools with that holistic development of the young kids themselves. I mean, for me, I pride that program on helping youngsters develop those key leadership skills, helping them, develop the interpersonal skills, their confidence, and their resilience, as well as, you know, more organizational skills, learning how to plan sessions, do session plans, you know, connecting everything with all coaching attributes as well. I mean, out of all those things, what ones hit a note for you? Which ones do you think that you developed, and it provides you with an opportunity to develop? What skills would you say?
To be honest, I think all of them play a key role in my development as a coach. Obviously, from a more footballing perspective, I think learning how to prepare sessions, planning ahead, making sure that, you know, I've got enough cones, I've got enough bibs, I've got the footballs, I know who's where at all times. That was a really key skill, as well as that delivering sessions, having the confidence and the clarity to, you know, give clear instructions. It's very important to make sure everything runs smoothly, everyone's safe, and everyone's having a great time. And then as well, just improving, you know, my relationships with the young people. I've got 2 younger siblings, so looking after and speaking to the younger generation is always something that I've done, and something that I've enjoyed. But yeah, it's still developed so much learning from the younger people as well, and just being a network for them, being an opportunity for them to not just develop as footballers, but also develop as young people and as people.
Excellent. Yeah, from when I first saw you, I thought you put in a really good performance. I mean, as I said, we've been doing this for many years. There have been a couple of people along the journey who have been very impressive during their experience. You know, the thing that struck me with you was you was young. You was, as you said, you were 16, but there was a maturity about you. You grasp a lot of the responsibilities for a 16-year-old. It was almost like having somebody who was in their 20s with a 20-year-old head on a 16-year-old shoulders. It was very, very impressive in some of the things that you was displaying, the way you gain control, the way you gain respect, in a likable way from the youngsters. You know, for me, it was a no-brainer. You was keen on getting more involved in coaching and things, and we are keen on trying to recruit as many young coaches to BiG as possible. Can you share with us what opportunities did it present for you? Obviously, you went on a journey with BiG. You're still on a journey with BiG. You know, I am somebody who thinks methodically, so it'd be nice to hear it in a nice chronological order. In what other opportunities came your way as a result of following that winter's holiday camp?
Yeah, so following the winter camp, obviously, me and you had a conversation, and you know, you was ready to invest in me, which was something that I'm very thankful for. So we moved on. I did my DBS. I also did my level 1 introduction to football coaching, which also comes with your safeguarding and first aid. And once I had those qualifications, I was able to begin working in the school. So initially, I was working alongside a coach called Daniel, a more experienced coach, and sort of we was running sessions together, but I was taking a more step back approach, trying to learn, soaking as much information as I could from him, and also from watching you deliver sessions. And as time passed, I began running my own sessions. You know, started off with receptions, have done some work with year 3s, year 2s in the school, which was brilliant. So yeah, from then you was willing to invest in me, and that really began the journey of me working in the school, which I did for 2 years, you know.
Excellent. And you know, you're obviously on a little break from the school work because of your next step in life in your university journey. And I must say, you are still missed. A lot of the kids always still ask for Rufus, let me say. So one of the things that was always quite impressive was and attractive was your personality, and how much you got on well with people, and certainly the young people, they really gravitated to you, etc. And it's really something to be proud of. And you know, obviously, to give your parents the credit for, to bringing up such a nice young man. And you still do work with us because clearly you've done your work experience with our holiday football programs, but now you're one of the team. You do come, and you've done how many work experience do you think you've done? Would you say you've done as a staff now?
Oh yeah, we've done a few. It's been 2 years. I'm pretty sure I've been there for at least 1 week throughout the summer camps, Easter camps, winter camps. So it's been quite a few now.
Been a few in there. You've done some of the weekly programs, weekly football sessions as well.
Yeah.
Done the girls' football. It's you've done quite a few things with us, and been very impressive and very
protective.
Yeah, it's been brilliant, been wonderful. You know, I think, you know, there's just a couple more questions on the football side of things, and I do want to touch a little bit on other areas that BiG's trying to explore, and just to get your views on. But we're very big on sort of, and pride ourselves in trying to learn from youngsters ourselves. And you know, is there any suggestions that you've got? If you know, nothing's 100% foolproof. We're proud of what we do, but we always know that there's room for improvement. You know, it's a key message we always say to everybody, all the youngsters, all the talented footballers, there's always room for improvement. So is there anything from your experience working with us that you think we could do a little bit different? I do recall having a conversation with you, and certainly around trying to get boundaries right in terms of with the kids. But there is something about, you know, how do I look at my boundaries with my young staff and participants? Is there something around that, being a bit more relaxed around the relationship there? Is there anything you can think of that you think we should consider that could probably improve the way we work with young people, freshening up ideas from a young person's
Yeah, well, like you mentioned, I think relationships with our young people is very key. You know, as a coach, whenever I work in the school or whenever I do a holiday program, you know, it's very important for me to almost be a big brother figure to the young people there. I know as a young person, it's very daunting to speak to someone who's perhaps a bit older about any problems, any issues. However, being that sort of older brother figure, I feel like I want to make it a comfortable environment and be a support network for any of the young people. So, you know, we already or you already employ a lot of young people who work in the summer camps. But yeah, just keeping that going, I think, is very key, because I believe it creates a great environment for the young people to, you know, share their thoughts and feelings, positive and negative. You know, I think that's really a key part of the business, something that I really enjoy as a young coach on the holiday programs or in the school. So yeah, that would be one area where I don't necessarily think we need to improve, because we have a plethora of young coaches already, but it's an area that, you know, we just can always keep on working and keep on, you know, trying to improve.
Excellent. And that's nice to hear. That's nice to hear. Again, what I'm pondering my thoughts on is also there's things that we've all learned along the way. With, you know, we tend to attract a lot of young people from or who are neurodiverse, either have ADHD or other related conditions, etc. You know, I mean, is there anything you've learned from that experience, from some of the situations that we've been in, and
100%,
and things for us, for yourself to take into consideration? Because as I said, you never stop learning, and even now, we work very closely with a charity that supports neurodiverse kids. And again, as you know yourself, I like speaking to the lady from the charity and get her to do online development awareness sessions with us, just to keep freshening us our minds and giving us new tools to help support neurodiverse kids. Anything in particular that comes to mind with yourself?
Yeah, I think understanding and empathy is two things, you know. Having empathy, putting yourself in the shoes of someone who is neurodiverse is a key skill. Everyone processes things differently, and that's something that I've had to learn, especially as a young person. You know, you're only really concerned with yourselves at times, especially when I first went into coaching. You know, I didn't think how other people would process different information. So, you know, working on the holiday programs, working with people who are neurodivergent has really taught me to have empathy, to have patience, and understand that not everyone thinks in the same way. Everyone is different. And just because it's different does not mean it's wrong. So that's one key thing. And then understanding is key. Like you mentioned, there's been a few Zooms where we've done workshops and worked with people who are experts in, you know, people being neurodiverse, and just having more understanding about it is something really key. You know, the more you understand about something, the better we've been able to deal with situations.
Excellent. And this is slightly away from your experience, but more to do with the wider picture of BiG, where, you know, we've been sort of like delivering services now for 14 years, coming up to 15 years, which just seems remarkable now from when I first started. It's amazing. But we think we've mastered our delivery. Not perfect, nothing's perfect, and there's always room for improvement, but we have so much strong case studies where we've had a positive impact on the youngsters. And now we want to become more influencers now. We want to be the voice for the youngsters. And, you know, clearly, you know, we are a Black-led organisation. We do support a lot of minorities, and our community is filled with more underserved young people. And for us, the next phase for us is now to be, okay, how can we help try to influence systemic change? A lot of our other work is to do with supporting young parents and other things. And because of that platform, we have had some really strong connections with key players, some Lambeth councillors, MPs, where we was going to invite them to our open launch day for our young parents hub, and which is a topical area for government. And it's important for us to now take a lot of the youth, the young people's concerns, try to capture and articulate them effectively to see if there's anything we can do to help influence some systemic change. Those areas that we are in particular interested in are either educational issues, unemployment. These are the key areas that affect our community. And the last one, which would be no surprise, is mental health. So that's what I want to ask you, Rufus, about mental health, especially being a young man. There's a lot of, you know, high stats with a lot of young people having mental health challenges, and certainly at different seasons in their lives, and especially with youngsters who are approaching exams and things like that. I just wanted to ask you, I mean, you know, certainly when I think of mental health in that context, I'm thinking about things such as anxiety, depression, loneliness in some cases for some people. First and foremost, is that any of those issues that do you think you've ever experienced, if you wish to share?
Yeah,
first and foremost?
I think everyone deals with everyone has mental health. Everyone deals with things. For sure, I would say anxiety is one that I feel like most young people deal with. At the age in your teenage years, you're in a lot of high pressure environments, whether that be GCSEs, which is what every young person goes through, or high pressure environments like the academy and football scene. So 100%, I think anxiety is something that I've dealt with, especially in the football scene, and also academically with school. So yeah, that's just from my perspective, and I feel like that's something that a lot of young people will naturally have to deal with. And I think for me personally, the way that I've managed to go through is just how you deal with it, your support system, your support network around you, and confiding in those people, speaking to those people. I think that's something that's really key to dealing with mental health.
Mm. 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 So thanks for sharing that, Rufus. I mean, for people that are not, I know your family, and I know how great your family are, and for us that's got strong support networks, it really does cushion the impact of any sort of anxiety. I think anxiety and mental health affects everybody, as you said. Even it affects grown-ups. I've gone down with stress over the years, too much work and things like that. But again, with the support of people around me, it just helped me get through it as well. So I can relate to what you're saying there. How about for the ones that ain't got a strong support unit?
Well, yeah, I wanted to mention, going back to an earlier point about us being a support network for the young people that go to our camps. I think there's definitely something to be said about that. Look, not everyone is fortunate enough to have a support system, and that's where I think it's important that we come in, and the kids that go to our camp, the kids that go to the schools that we work in, is very important for us to be there for them and to help them and help them feel comfortable to share any stresses, any things with mental health, and that's what we strive to do.
Excellent. So everybody out there, you can see why this young man is part of the team. He's a very special young man, and we've got quite a few good young people around us, which I think is so important. It's so important for us to do life in community, as I call it, to do with each other, to support each other, as Rufus just said. And, it's important for us to, be there for everybody that we serve, and not just, just do the standard BOG service. We have to be observant and, be empathetic and patient with everybody, because we don't know what's going through everybody's lives. Thank you very much, Rufus. Is there any questions? Any questions that you have for me, for BiG? Any last comments you wanna mention about BiG from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, BiG has been a pivotal part of my last 2 years of my development as a person and as a coach. So yeah, it's very important, I think, for young people to go out of their comfort zone and try something new. And I would definitely say I've learned so much along the way from Lionel, from the young people that we interact with on a daily basis. And I also just want to say a thank you as well to Lionel for investing in me. But yeah, no, BiG has been a massive part, of the last 2 years that I've been working with them. I feel like I've learned a lot of key skills and developed a lot over the 2 years.
Excellent. And thank you too, Rufus. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Over to you, Aaron.
Well, yeah, a lot of great stuff in that episode. Like, it was nice to hear you guys speak about your experiences. And yeah, that will be the end of this episode between these two guys. I thought that was amazing. And yeah, like, subscribe, and do whatever we ask you to do after all of these videos. Thank you very much.
Perfect.